Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another D&D storytelling, where the adventurers have made their way through forests, mind flayers, beholders, little bits of dragons, and just all kinds of interesting things. Where could this adventure lead to now? Oh wait, the Nine Hells, which is where this episode is kind of based off of. But before that, let's go back to the last episode. If I could do cool rewinding effects, I would. Anyhow, last episode. I don't remember. I did remember, but I don't. Oh, yes. They had the royal meeting, I believe, and after this royal, no, not the royal meeting. They had the Undercity attack. Yes. And after the Undercity attack, they made their way back to Stormwind after finding the Shadow Dragon, where they rested for 4 days. I think it was like 5 days. So Oberon could get back to better after having to deal with the resurrection. Revival process taking 4 days to fully recover. There we go. I remember. Yeah, the group had a battle at Undercity where they went in to find Shadow, where they fought one of the elemental mages, known as Shadow, the ruler of the Shadowfell. Upon defeating her, they retrieved one of the shards of Pillars Light, and returning back to Darwan, they remembered that Queen Desara might still be in the Undercity, so Blair and Oberon jumped back in, with the Shadow Dragon fighting just 2 of them. However, they did die, but they did get brought back to life thanks to Blair's patron, and going through the whole revival process. 4 days after that whole sequence, upon going to their keep, they were woken up the next day after some nice sleepy times by Queen Valadine, telling them that instead of going to Orgrimmar, where they wanted to go to the Exodore, where they might have a shard. So they said, alright, we'll head there. The group made their way to Darwan using Raven's transportation circle and entered. Or no, they used the Griffins. Sorry, I'm a little lost, even though we played it yesterday. Well, technically when this video goes up 2 days ago. But, anyhow, they used the Griffins from the whistle that they got from King Inaris to fly up Shadowfound! Okay. They used the Griffins to fly over there, where they went to Kalimdor, taking a couple of days to get there, but no harm seemed to have happened. Upon making there, they arrived at this more magical aura pressed area, where in the very middle, where they landed with the Griffins, there's like a huge comet with purple and blue strips coming out as like a meteor crash, almost familiar when they went to Darnassus. There was huge crystals of pink and purple, just massive crystals, bigger than some dragons, all around, where they seen the building known as the Exodore, the Kingdom of the Draenei. Upon entering, they were greeted by a couple Draenei who told them the signature bow of the Draenei, where they place their hands above their hearts, and with the weapons, even if it's small, have it here, and with your weapon you slam it into the ground and do a bow. That's all you have to do. That's just the Draenei bow. So they made their way to, they were led to part of the Draenei kingdom where the king and queen lied, if I can remember the names. It's Fazu and Alicia, I remember. Upon entering this room, however, they found 3 Draenei. Farzu, Alicia, and another Draenei who wasn't too important. However, when they walked in this room, they saw this gigantic, dense purple orb. It was a dark purple with some black, and it almost looked like a little bit of a void kind of color. Telepathically, they each received a voice in the head, being coming from Vazu. They were told that they need to help. Blair and Raymond being the only 2 that were here at the moment. They tried to aid in controlling this weird orb. However, they didn't manage to control it, being of an unknown power that they weren't quite familiar with. Upon the explosion of the orb, the Draenei, being people of this, the Draenei are originally tieflings. However, when Pellar's Light kind of happened, whenever this magical burst of energy happened, it kind of, some of the tieflings absorbed it, creating the Draenei. I should have mentioned that, but they kind of shut down due to like their power, their magic just kind of shutting down. Out of this orb walked out a large, kind of dense gray creature that had eyes everywhere and a central eye right in its chest. There is eyes nearly in every part of its body besides its loincloth, kind of protecting his bits. Also came out this tentacle-like creature. I don't remember. It looks like he's like a white blue who can shift his form into a spectral form, not just a material form. This was an aboleth and an eye golem from the Tome of Beasts monster book thing. But the group broke into fights with these two. The eye golem, however, did manage to basically cause their eyes to explode due to this blinding light that emitted from its central eye. The group fought into battle with these, killing the aboleth. However, the eye golem did manage to destroy them, and they did go unconscious in the battle. He did decide to go into the void, leaving them. Upon waking up, the Draenei kind of slowly come back to consciousness. Told them, oh no, I mixed it up, sorry. I'm a little bit tired for some reason, and I don't know why. I slept for like 12 hours. The group, after becoming unconscious, they woke up in this completely black area, almost drifting into space, where they seen a door. Just as they slowly drifted away from it, with a dimension door to it. Upon opening it, they were then led back into the room that they were in before. However, they couldn't see anything because their eyes had been exploded. They did decide to take a long rest there, and the Draenei mentioned that they could open the void again, the Void Realm, where they fought the Plane Destroyer, and see if you can learn this eye golem bag. However, this is very dangerous and may result in other creatures coming in. But they decided to take the risk anyways because they kind of need their eyes, and that is kind of important. So the Draenei concentrated again and bringing out the eye golem. They did kill it. A lot easier this time, taking the central eye. Raymond kind of learning how to use it. They did get their eyes back. The group then decided to head back to Stormwind for a little bit, do some resting, kind of talk to Finnegan and Gilmore. Raymond wanted to see Finnegan, you know, his lover. However, Finnegan was not there, and Gilmore was currently there, telling him that Finnegan is currently working on the barrier that is keeping Stormwind hidden and protected. Gilmore told him that the clothes that Darlon would be working on, these fire-resistant clothes that help when they're in the Nine Hells not burn alive, are ready, and he can take them there whenever they need, because he does have the plane shift spell. Blair is quickly okay with this, wanting to go to the Nine Hells, wanting to save Alistair, her boyfriend, and save the king if possible. Also, the Rakshasa is currently there as well after they defeated Zygmorius after his assassination attempt on Wayron, disguised as Finnegan. Then we have Venola to get some supplies, these healing potions, or these healing stones, and 3 healing stones that have the spell Heal enchanted on them, and then 1 stone of Mass Cure Wounds. They gathered Gilmore, they got Oberon, and when they went inside Ranzor's room, Ranzor was not there, neither was Utalga. It just seemed his room was completely vacant. So they decided to head to Darlon to pick up L'Oreal as well, because L'Oreal is a badass paladin who likes to kill shit for a living. Sorry for my language. The group decided to make their way to the Violet Citadel in the bottom of this tower where all the portals are located, and they stood at the entrance of this completely dark red portal as it seemed to almost be on fire. As they stepped into it, they came into this hard, dark, almost black land where the trees were dark obsidian and the leaves themselves were completely made out of fire. It looked like leaves, but were just fire. Oberon, loving this place, being all about fire, was quite familiar with it, kind of liked it. The group decided to disguise themselves, L'Oreal and Gilmore, as twin tieflings. Blair also disguising himself as a tiefling, and Oberon disguising himself as an imp. They decided to have Rayron as a slave, putting one chain around his wrists. Walking through this dense, beautifully, weirdly lit forest of death, passing by pools of, or like ponds of lava, seeing all these devils walking around, some of these big, massive horns and these large wings, some little smaller, by small I mean smaller-ish devils, being about 7 foot, with these long claws and just spikes all around them, this deep dark green color. They began to follow Gilmore through this forest, where they appeared outside the forest, where they seen a massive obsidian city, where just down below they could see a bridge that leads inside with pools of lava kind of coming off the walls into a moat of lava. They made their way there, seeing 2 more devils, these beautifully stunning devils that wear some unique armor and have like stylish swords and a bow. Upon walking by, they were stopped, and Blair was questioned about why she only has 1 chain on her slave. That's not normal. That's why do you give your slave so much freedom? Blair quickly lying and said she came to get more chains. They believed her as she walked inside this deep, dark obsidian city, where the buildings being almost the same color with streaks of lava occasionally coming off. The group here, even wearing these fire-resistant clothes, still felt abnormally uncomfortable. They were sweating profusely, and it was just terrible. They began looking around. They went inside a chain store that they found, just like a normal store, but it sold chains. Where they met an Azur, being a dwarf who looks like he has a flaming beard, hair. Where she was asking for chains to put for Rayron. The Azur said, "Sure, just give me 5 souls for it." And Blair didn't know what to do or how to act, because she doesn't have souls. So they decided to make their way to this tavern that they seen before, looking for information, where they came across another little tiefling. Blair was asking for souls. She was greeted with a stone, and the tiefling just said to eat it. Blair is a little uncomfortable at first, and she was wondering how does this help me get souls. But as she moved it close to her mouth, she felt and seen this little ghostly figure with eyes and a mouth drip down her into her mouth as she swallowed it, being a soul of a person, technically eating a person. So he was very much uncomfortable with this, did not like it at all, and she was confused how 1 soul is supposed to help her get chains, and the tiefling just told her, "You seem to be good at lying. Go try to convince him to get chains for 1 soul," which she managed to do. Managed to get Rayron chained even more. They made their way back to the tavern, though, to search for more information, not knowing where the slave district is, where they last seen Alistair and King Anaris. The tiefling, with Blair talking to him, asking for all kinds of information, the tiefling put themselves in a black zone where it seemed nobody was around. It was just these 2, in this zone. They discussed information. However, the devil or the tiefling refused to give up any information unless Blair signed a pact. The pact stated that if Blair were to kill a pit fiend named Mugash, kind of like this ruler of the slave district, they will be granted all the information that this tiefling knows and passage to this prison that they were trying to look for Inaris. After speaking his name, the tiefling kind of knew exactly who Inaris was and where he would most likely be located, which is known as the Bastion of Flesh. This slave district was known as the Wall of Flesh, where they keep all like a huge wall of different civilians and slaves to sell, being a huge wall of people, being a wall of flesh. I don't have to explain myself, but upon completing this, they would be granted passage to the prison. However, if they fail, the tiefling gets Blair's soul. Blair talked with their group a little bit, being kind of scared. Decided, okay, well, this is the best information we'll get, and decided to sign the pact. Biting her finger, drawing her name with blood, it burned on and disappeared. They were then told directions to the Wall of Flesh, where upon entering, people were trying to buy Raven. Someone offered 500,000 gold for this gnome. Asking around, they did see quite a bit of civilians. Raven did see a figure walk by, being a blue dragonborn, who looked to be torn and kind of beaten and bloodied. Not exactly knowing who it was. They remember hearing stories of RJ being a dragonborn who assisted in the war of the Plane Destroyer. They were asking information about how to kind of get Mugash to come out. They were trying to get him alone. Blair asking some guards, trying to deceive them, telling them that her spy here, talking about Oberon being a nymph, was figuring out information that that this pit fiend Mugash is trying to betray the Duke of this lair, being the fourth lair, which is owned by a Duke and a, well, they quickly shut Blair up and were asking the information. If this is true, what does he look like? More importantly, where is his scar located? Oberon having no idea, kind of panicking, the groups grew more pissed and angry. Blair randomly shouting out a place where the scar might be located, his left eye, which is a lucky guess, is exactly where the scar is located, right across his left eye, straight down the middle. And that was one hell of a lucky guess, Blair. One hell of a lucky guess. The guards believed her, and they decided to head into head outside of town to go warn the Duke. They began asking around, how do we get this pit fiend to come out? They were told that he likes higher people. He likes a good deal. He likes people of noble births, and just some of that is worth the buy. They began to auction off Wayrin, saying he is from Dalaran, being the city of magical, one of the most magical cities. Mugash eventually did appear after countless attempts of bragging about Raven. He kind of just ignored them first, but Blair did catch his attention, telling him, hey, there's this guy. You can beat him up if you want, if you buy him. But I can tell you more information, but I don't want any wandering ears to know. So the pit fiend kind of stomped his large feet on the ground, being this huge pit fiend, where everyone kind of cowered in fear and ran away. Blair then kind of looked at Gilmore, kind of gave him a wink, as Gilmore turned into his mystical form, being a mystic, or his class as a mystic, and began to fight this Pit Fiend. However, the Pit Fiend basically one-shotted Blair with his 4 multi-attacks, and killed about, I think, all 4 of them in this fight. Blair dying from poison, Oberon dying from poison, but they were managed to get revived. Barely. The group just had one hell of a rough time trying to fight this Pit Fiend. It was one of the worst fights that they probably ever experienced, and they fought a Shadow Dragon with just 2 of them. But eventually, the Pit Fiend was slain. Upon slaying the Pit Fiend, or during the fight with the Pit Fiend, Blair assumed her metamorphosis form, assuming her angelic wings and her more looking of her patron. She did get true sight, seeing invisible creatures, did see 3 imps who were kind of watching this fight, and as she attacked one, they quickly ran away into this portal. Later, after the fight of the Pit, at the end of the fight of the Pit Fiend, guards began to swarm them after they were kind of brought back to life from being unconscious or dead. The guards swarmed them and demanded their weapons, and asked them if they're going to come peacefully or by force. They decided to go by peacefully, as they were taken prisoners, shackled pretty intensely, as they made their way through the town, being led to an area they are not quite familiar with. They made their way to this another dark obsidian building, where the inside smelled like rotten and burning flesh, as they walked past these cells where they seen people with hooks through them, or being shanked with their internal organs being ripped out. They came across many rooms until Oberon, catching a glimpse of a human who seemed to be chained up, who looked to be scarred, had whip markings all over him, chain marks, just seemed to be not having a tough time recognizing this as Alistair. As they made their way down a couple more rooms, they were eventually led to their own room with the door closed, where a chain devil lied as he chained them by their hands and feet to the ground and to the ceiling. The chain devil then released its chains, turning into almost snakes, began to crawl under their garments and under their clothing and start unbuckling them. The chain devil then stopped after hearing of someone call his name. As the chain devil retracted his chains, looked back, seeing another little lesser devil. He kind of yelled at him a little bit and then began to walk off. The lesser devil then stepped into the room carrying a bag, telling them all sorts of directions where Zygmorius is, as he threw this bag on the ground, being their bag of weapons, before leaving them still chained and stuck. And that was where we ended it. Yeah, they're in an interesting place. They're in the Nine Hells. They have to kill Zygmorius the Rakshasa. They have to save Alistair, Anaris, and if they want to save RJ or the Blue Dragonborn, well, I mean, that's a lot in the Nine Hells. So good luck. But it's the group. So whatever they can do, I mean, they're going into the Nine Hells at level 14 and 15. So I mean, it's already interesting. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, though. And I'll see you guys all in the next episode of the D&D storytelling. Why can I not talk? But yeah, I'll see you guys all in the next episode. Hopefully Ranzor will be returning. Hopefully. We're waiting for you, Ranzor. We're waiting for you. You have a different mission, Ranzor. I know you're watching this. I see you comment sometimes. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye-bye!